Looking around Curtis Bay, what you're going to find is that on one side you have a community just like any other. You're going to see community gardens and schools and children playing in the park. But on the other side, there's this long fence that divides what we call Curtis Bay's backyard, which is this huge, seemingly endless sea of industry. Even when I take my nephew to the park, towering over the playground is this giant mountain of coal. The reason why all of these polluting industries are built in Curtis Bay, it's because we're poor. Curtis Bay houses the nation's largest medical waste facility, a coal export terminal, an animal rendering plant, and the city's landfill. In Baltimore, the deaths related to air pollution is higher than the homicide rate. And then we found out about the plan to build the nation's largest trash-burning incinerator less than a mile away from our school.
It seemed like there was nothing that could be done. Lots of established organizations and adults had taken a crack at working on this and stopping it, and really, stopped in their tracks. But it had the endorsement from, all angles.
The governor and the mayor, everybody that was supportive of this, safe, clean, jobs, right? That's hard to be against that.
It would have been burning 4,000 tons of trash every day. It was permitted to release 240 pounds of mercury every year and 1,000 pounds of lead. The incinerator violated every single value, every single principle that we had as a group, and we knew that we had to do something to stop it.
Free Your Voice is a student-led group that's based out of Benjamin Franklin High School here in Curtis Bay. It is a challenge to the idea that some communities should be used as dumping grounds, that some people's lives should be cut short simply because of where they're born.
We made videos and we created art. We weren't lobbyists or lawyers or anything like that. We were a group of high school students, so we really had to rely on the skills that we had.
It really did take the kids to mobilize our community. Us adults, we were jaded. We're apathetic. We're used to this. We've seen this happen for the last 30 years. We didn't think it was going to change. We kind of got into that rut of thinking. So it took a group of young people who were told that it couldn't be done, but they decided to think outside the box and say, even if it can't be done, it should be done.
One of the turning points in our fight to stop the incinerator was when we learned that the Baltimore City public school system would have been buying energy from the company building the incinerator. And so we took that sort of fire and we decided to reach out to the Baltimore public school system. Is it fair to build the nation's largest incinerator in a community with the highest level of toxic air emissions in the state? The incinerator is failed development.
The plant was not breaking any laws, but a community is sum of its parts. Plant A is putting in so many pounds of mercury, plant B, plant C, plant D. It's a math problem, but each individual plant doesn't have to do the math. So the kids were doing the math. Fresh with the knowledge that we gained from the visit with Destiny and her colleagues, I urged us to back out of the contract.
And so that was the first domino that then led to successively the other 21 public entities breaking their contracts. And that then left the incinerator company in a real predicament. We had begun to turn the tables and kind of rewire the situation.
So we learned that the incinerator's permit had expired. This was a huge opportunity for us because with an expired permit, you can't construct. But it wouldn't matter unless the Maryland Department of the Environment said publicly, your permits are expired, which they hadn't done. People stood until like the wee hours of the night, just protesting and saying, enforce the law, do your job. After months of continued pressure from constant phone calls and emails and residents sending hundreds of video testimonies, the state declared that the permit is expired.
Without the leadership of Destiny, without the leadership of the students of Free Your Voice who have worked alongside of her, we would likely have the nation's largest trash-burning incinerator less than a mile away from where we go to school, from where we work, and from where we live.
It could have been easy for me to just like force myself to ignore this, but I couldn't. You know, Curtis Bay is my home. I grew up here. I live here. My family lives here. My friends live here. If a development like this is happening that would be putting our lives at risk, I couldn't ignore it.